Well, hello everybody and welcome to this very special video. I have a few disclaimers to get out of the way before we get started, and the first is that this is not my design. This is a French translation from a French Minecrafter named Qarm. He has worked on a modification to a more user-friendly design by Captain Wutax for a villager trading hall. Now this design is modular and there are a few other implications that I will get to in detail, but I just want to let everybody know that this is not my design. I did not do any of this work, and I am just simply translating everything to the best of my ability to cover as much, if not more, than Qarm's video so that there is a broader audience that receives this video. With that being said, Qarm has made a very beautiful 128 villager storage trading hall that is quite user-friendly. There's a lot to this that was modified off of Captain Wutax's design, which there were some parts that, due to villagers just being villagers, they sometimes break, and not everything works as fluidly as he would like, so he took the time to design this modular component. Everything is user input based, so if you do not like something, you could fix it simply by interacting with any of these note blocks, as you see here, to interact with the villagers. This is going to convert, and this is going to fix, in case that light, as you can see by this villager jumping up and down, it will fix it if that light ends up being off at the wrong moment. Now, when you put new villagers in here, it's very problematic if you have any zombie villagers in here. Do not be converting villagers as you're putting new ones in, because if they fall down right next to it on either side of the zombie villager is actually going to be able to see up there and will track them and will hit them between the trapdoors. Now this is modular, like I said, but it is limited to the range of pathfinding. So if you put more than 16 in here, it's going to be very hard for the villager to actually find the spot it's meant to go to. You can get them to run towards the target of your choice by having a pillager or zombie or something else up here contained and having it chase them, and that villager is going to just book it to the closest section to get into. Now back here, what's going to happen when you put a new villager in is it's going to actually land right here. It's going to actually take damage and move over here. It's going to be able to try to pathfind to any of these workstations that it can find. Now these gates are going to prevent it from being able to actually go down here, so it's not going to be able to fall down here, so it's not going to path this way. However, it is going to notice that this is open and it can drop here. It won't always pick the next available slot. Sometimes they'll just run clear all the way down here, and I do not understand why they do this, but it seems that they just choose randomly when to pick their profession, and that seems to be when they choose to run towards their target. You do not want to have your villager breeder too close to this, because this is the actual requesting system that we have right now, which is based on actually spawning the villagers with the dispenser and spawn eggs, but you'd actually want something to actually capture these villagers and get them into the spot a lot easier, and you'd want to have it at least 3 chunks away. That is about 48 blocks away from this, so that none of these professions are accidentally taken by villagers that decide that they can get there when they're completely boxed in for some random reason. There's a lot that you can do with this, but I'll get into that after I show you how it works. There's a central column right here, which is going to be how you request your new villagers. They're going to come and fall down this tube. There's water right there at the 3rd block to prevent them from taking any fall damage, so when I request a cart, they're going to fall down here without taking any damage. The rest of this is a little bit backwards, but it's actually very convenient for the redstone underneath to undercomplicate it and make it very simple and easy to use, but it might annoy a few people because everything is backwards. There are invisible item frames right here that if you want to get, where is it? This. If you want to get an item frame, an invisible item frame, you can actually do it with this. This command is going to actually allow you to make an invisible item frame, and if we grab upstairs here, it will work. However, you won't be able to do this in vanilla, so if you have terracotta, you can actually orientate the terracotta to your preference, although it probably won't exactly look the way you want it to. It's very hard to make pink look good. But now that we've selected which side it's going to go to, I believe I might not have hit that button yet. I did not. So once I hit this button, he's going to go this way. He's going to go over to this side of the trading hall. As you can see, he's right here. And then again, it's going to be backwards, so this button's actually going to put him over here. Now he should fall into this first slot, but they might not. Looks like he's not going to, so he's going to pick a different spot. We just have to wait for this villager to figure out where he's going. Maybe. So if you absolutely don't want to wait, it's best to have a mob of some sort up there to scare the villagers down this line. And that's what's going to actually limit the design length. You can obviously expand this back if you have no problems with just loading a bunch of villagers in there. They should eventually find the open spots. But this guy's being really difficult, and he's making this hard to present. Anyway, we'll move on. There's a very simple design with the rail system back here, and it's actually really simple with how the bottom of this works. Is there's actually double piston extenders. It works similar to, it's really just this with the block, and if you extend one side and then the other, it's just rotated 90 degrees to where it works on the y-axis instead. And that's all we use. That's all that Qarm used to actually design this. Is that he's just making it to where the cart can't go anywhere. So when there's actually a cart stuck here, it's gonna go freely all the way over there. But it actually moves the villager off of this, which I still do not completely understand how he's managed to do this. I think they land on this redstone block due to that slope. So yeah, so then it's actually gonna push it over. Yeah, that makes more sense. It's actually going to push it over and then push that glass block over, which is actually going to separate the cart. You actually have to have the glass blocks here in order to not suffocate the villager. It's actually a very nice safety feature that Qarm invented, and I'm very happy he used that. The carts actually aren't going to get properly sorted, so the carts are actually going to end up in these chests on each side. So if you want to get them back to the main central storage, you absolutely could do that. You could also add a chest anywhere you'd like in here. There's actually plenty of room for that. I just destroyed the stairway. But there's actually plenty of room in here. And there's also access to the outside in case you just want to use the system that's here. So you can actually access the chest from right here. There's also a glowstone underneath the carpet, so you don't have to worry about mobs spawning in here. But if you're going to be putting this on the ground level of something, you definitely want to use a method to prevent them from coming in here. And I think I've got it over here, which underneath this carpet, there's actually string. And typically zombies aren't going to be able to pathfind through this, but spiders will. So spiders are going to come in here, but they're not going to be able to eat your villagers. So don't worry about that. But zombies are going to be able to kept at bay with this, except that they can actually travel these redstone lines. So if you have a cart going up here, they might be able to find your villager, but your villager's not going to die by the time it gets up there. However, I would definitely recommend having this in an enclosed space that you know is completely well lit and no zombies are going to spawn. The last couple of things that need to be noted here is that you actually need blocks behind these trapdoors here in order to prevent the zombie villager from accessing all of the villagers at his own will, as well as preventing the villagers from getting out of their cells. Now, I make a lot of mistakes when I'm playing with villagers in villager halls, so rather than having these wooden trapdoors, if you prefer something a little less problematic that maybe you might mess up, you can actually use redstone blocks behind here and iron trapdoors. You will never be able to interact with these and click these. You'd have to break the redstone block behind it, and that's the only time you'll ever have an issue. I think I've mentioned everything in here, except there's one last problem that sometimes when you have a zombie villager in here attacking and converting your villagers for lower trade rates, that light can actually end up being off when you put the villager back up, and it's just as simple as hitting this button to locking it. If you also want to prefer where the villager pathfinds, let's say that we have some stone cutters here. And you want a villager to actually go over to here. You can actually close up all of these halls. And now that's the only slot that he could go to. So let's see if that works. I'm going to request a villager. I'm going to send him over here. I'm going to send him over to this side. And you will probably eventually pathfind to that end block right there, if you so choose. It might take a while, but he should be able to find it eventually. The only problem with these villagers is that if you end up getting a nitwit stuck in here, which I've probably got a couple in here somewhere, they're not going to actually care to pathfind to any of these. So you might have that problem. The last thing that is actually built into this is that, by default, if you actually want to get rid of any of your villagers, you don't want to just directly start shooting them with a bow. You actually want to send them down to conversion first. Raise them back up. And then you actually want to shoot them with a bow. And that will solve your problem. This will make sure that none of the other villagers see you kill another villager, which actually generates negative gossip, and that will actually make your rates actually more expensive. So convert them before you kill them in case there's something in here that you don't like. I think that's everything with this trading hall, and Qarm has made an awesome design with this, but there are a few modifications I would personally like to have in here. Now, Qarm has made it to where you can grab your shulker boxes, and if you have whatever you're going to trade ready, you can actually put them right next to this brown carpet without changing the light level in here and being worried about zombie spawns. So you can easily access your shulker boxes, but being that this is a modular design, you can actually go out here, and you can add whatever you'd like to the outside of this and have your shulker boxes. Maybe you want to store your emeralds away and have them crack the shulker box when it's full, or you're trading out for a bunch of glass and you'd like to have that shulker box crack when it's full. Maybe you just are trying to trade with your villagers and you don't want the junk that's going to come out of here and you want a trash can. I would highly recommend a trash can because your inventory will get completely stuffed, especially when you have 128 villagers to handle. There's a lot more you can do with this, but everything else aside from this is completely up to you. If you have any questions with this, I'm going to link Qarm's channel in the comments or in the description, as well as a world download for this, as well as a link to the original design by Captain Wutax, as well as an additional villager breeder by Impulse SV. So maybe if you don't know how to make a villager breeder, you can make a very easy, simple one made by him. Anyways, that's it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. Be sure to check out Qarm's channel. He's starting out some really great ideas with this, and this is definitely a very good step in the right direction. And I might end up using this myself because it's that awesome. Be sure to check out all the content linked below, and I will see you guys in the next video.